Since this is a serious topic, please remain silent and don't laugh.
Annie Frank, born on June 12, 1929, in Frankfurt, Germany.
Daughter of Edith and Otto Frank, and she had a sister, Margot Frank. Unemployment was high and was severe in Germany, and it was the period in which Adolf Hitler and his party was gaining more and more supporters. Hitler hated the Jews and blamed them for the problems in the country.
So they decided to move to the Netherlands.
Right before she went into hiding, she was gifted a diary for her 13th birthday.
Her father even owned a business in the Netherlands. Annie was feeling at home. She went to school and she even learned the language of Dutch. As Hitler's army was big,
So the start of World War II officially started when the Nazis took over Poland in 1939.
not long after 1940, they took over the Netherlands. And segregation began with Jews not being able to visit parks, cinemas, etc. The Nazis took it further, making the Jews wear the Star of David on their clothing, so Otto Frank made the family move to a secret annex with other families. When she was hiding, she wrote in her diary about it.
42. Dear Kitty, extraordinary things can happen to people who go into hiding. Just imagine, as there is no bath, we use a wash tub. And because there is hot water in the office, by which I always mean the whole of the lower floor, all 7 of us take it in turns to make use of this great luxury. But because we are all so different, and some are more modest than others, each member of the family has found his own place for carrying out the performance. Peter uses the kitchen in spite of its glass door. When he is going to have a bath, he goes to each one of us in turn and tells us that we must not walk past the kitchen for half an hour. He seems to think this is sufficient. Mr. Von Don goes right upstairs. To him it is worth the bother of carrying hot water all the way, so as to have the seclusion of his own room. Mrs. Von Don simply doesn't bathe at all at present. She is waiting to see which is the best place. Daddy has his bath in the private office, Mummy behind a fire guard in the kitchen.
But then the Nazis found them, and it is believed till today that informants told the Nazis where Anne Frank and the other families were. And they took Anne Frank and other families to Auschwitz, a concentration camp. But soon after, Annie and her sister were moved to Bergen-Belsen, where they would eventually die of the typhus flu in 1945, before World War II could end at the age of 16. She couldn't see how the world turned out after the Jews were freed. The only person who survived in the family was Otto Frank, but all the other families who was staying with them also died, and he was the only survivor. And Annie Frank is still remembered today because of the diary she kept while she was surviving in the secret annex.